Okay, so before we get down to business, let's actually dissect and look into what an idiom is. An idiom is very similar in a lot of respects to a colloquialism. They're both used in speech, but the main difference is that idioms are also found in written text. They're used not necessarily only in a casual setting, they're used also in more formal settings as well. So get down to business. What that is, that's a call to action. If you dissect the words and you try to individually find a connection and a way to to define them by the root, it doesn't really make sense in the context. Um, but what it is it's kind of a request for expedition, for things to move faster. Let's get on with it. Let's move past this. Let's get down to business. Let's get let's focus and engulf ourselves in the most meaningful parts of whatever the situation is, or the crux of the situation. If you're researching for a paper or something, getting down to business would mean taking all of the research articles and materials and everything that you have gathered and actually starting to scan through them and find the information that you need and compartmentalize it. Basically, this is figurative language. Idioms are figurative language, so they can't really be clearly defined by the words in them. They are more than the sum of the parts that make them up. There's phrases that are used usually for several generations. They're passed down and they kind of evolve, but they have a specific meaning, and they usually have an origination, like a background story behind them. An example would be the British use not enough room. I believe it's not enough room to swing a cat. So no room to swing a cat is what they use. So that it doesn't really make sense if you think about it just right off the top of your head. But what it's referring to is the sailors used to be punished with a cat o' nine tails, a whip. So not enough room to swing a cat. That means a cat o' nine tails, not an actual cat. But either way, the mental picture provides kind of gives you an idea of what they're trying to communicate by using it. So, like I said, they all have kind of an origination, but you don't necessarily need to understand that. Another one, throw the baby out with the bathwater. That originated back, I'm not sure exactly when, it was hundreds of years ago, but it was because the pecking order, the order of the families when they took baths, because they didn't take baths as often as we do these days. It was the head of the household, the father, and then it was going to be the oldest son, and it kind of worked its way down. And so by the time it got to the baby, the bathwater was so murky and dark and disgusting that they said don't throw the baby out of the bathwater, because the baby would actually disappear into the water, and you wouldn't be able to see it anymore. So, like I said, these are all culturally significant. They kind of change depending on the regions that you go to. America and Britain, even though we have the same language, we have a lot of different idioms, and the same goes with any other kind of language. You're going to find regional differences, but they're pretty easy to spot and pick up on, because they're going to come up time and again. You're going to hear them, you're going to read them, and they'll start to become a little more familiar. Just take it easy at first. Make sure to take a breath and realize that it's not necessarily what it sounds like.